What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give out takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Thursday, September 21st, 2023, and this is the preview for the Miami Dolphins taking on the Denver Broncos on Sunday. The Dolphins are 2-0 going into this matchup, and the Broncos are 0-2. And this is the first home game of the season for the Miami Dolphins. Big deal after going on the road 2 straight weeks in a row and getting the job done against the Los Angeles Chargers 36-34 and the New England Patriots 24-17. Now they come home and they play the Denver Broncos. And we are going to get into the injury report shortly, but this is one of the weeks where you're 2-0. The other team is 0-2. You are favored by 7 points, and you cannot overlook the Broncos. I know the Broncos have struggled in the past. Last year was a bad year for the Broncos with Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson. They bring in Sean Payton to be their head coach this year. And while first half Russell Wilson looks great, and I actually do think Russell Wilson's playing fine, but he just disappears in the second half. And that's what's happened in the first 2 games of the season against the Raiders and against the Commanders. And because of his second half performances, he's put the Broncos in an 0-2 hole when they could be easily 2-0 going into this game. And this could be potentially a more competitive game for the Denver Broncos. But, I still think it's going to be. I'm not overlooking the Broncos. I'm going to give my respect to the Broncos. They got some nice talent, but they just can't seem to win games. And Russell Wilson is a big issue with that. So, but that's the main takeaway from it. You cannot overlook the Denver Broncos team. You just cannot. And you can't overlook any of these opponents that we don't think are a serious threat coming up in the next couple weeks. You can't look at next week's game before this week. You got to get through business this week. So we are going to go through the injury report. I don't have an update on the injury report from the Broncos today, but for the Dolphins, Teron Armstead practiced again, and Jalen Phillips practiced as well. Xavier Howard did not practice yesterday because he got the veterans rest, and he's good to go. He got a full practice in today. The Dolphins did not see Jalen Waddle, who is dealing with a concussion, or Savon Ahmed, who is dealing with a groin injury. So I doubt, unfortunately, that we are going to see either of those guys in this game against the Broncos on Sunday. And I'll talk about that. I'll talk about Waddle specifically when we get to the Dolphins offense against the Denver Broncos defense. And then for the Broncos, this is from yesterday. So, by the time this is probably uploaded, they might have the injury report out for today already. But Justin Sims, Frank Clark, and Mike Purcell, all defensive players. Justin Simmons, their superstar safety, he did not practice yesterday. And left tackle Garrett Bowles was limited with an ankle injury. So if the Broncos don't have Justin Simmons out there, that's a problem for them. That's a huge loss if Justin Simmons ends up not being able to play in this game for the Broncos. So let's get into this matchup. I really don't want to wait around, and I want to get right into it, man. The Denver Broncos are taking on the Miami Dolphins. Is it the sexiest matchup for the Miami Dolphins? No, it's not, but it's what's in the task this week, and you got to get the job done. You have got to get the job done for this week. So we're going to start with the Broncos offense against the Miami Dolphins defense. So, Broncos, obviously, with Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams is their running back. They got two solid receivers in Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. The Broncos overall are the 16th ranked offense in the NFL. They are 13th in passing, and they are 15th in rushing game, averaging 108 yards per game. Then the Dolphins defense, you look at them, they are 24th overall, 17th in pass defense, allowing 230 passing yards per game, and they are 28th in rush defense. So that Chargers game still affected their run defense. They are ranked 28th with 160 and a half rushing yards given up per game so far. It's only the first 2 weeks, but take it with a grain of salt. These statistics could be more realistic by like week 5. But Broncos offense, Russell Wilson is a Hall of Fame quarterback. You cannot overlook Russell Wilson. He's got some decent receivers. Their offensive line has given up 9 sacks in the first 2 games. And that's what I really want to pinpoint on right here is, once again, the Dolphins' defensive line getting pressure. I felt like they did a good job on Mac Jones last week. Van Ginkel was unbelievable. Bradley Chubb with a forced fumble, and he got a sack late in the game too, to make it 2nd and long. David Long Jr. got a sack. The boys in the defensive front came to play last week, and I'm hoping for the same this week too, because you look at this offensive line, Garrett Bowles, who might not even play. You have left guard Ben Powers, center Lloyd Chusenberry, right guard Quinn Menierez, and the right tackle Mike McGlinchey, who they signed to a long-term deal this offseason. It was actually one of the players that I wanted the Miami Dolphins to sign in the offseason, but he went to the Broncos. They've given up 9 sacks this season, and I think the Dolphins' defensive line has to take care of that. I do think we see Jalen Phillips back on the field this week for the Miami Dolphins, which would be a great sign. Bradley Chubb would be a tough match. It's going to be a tough matchup for the tackles, for the edges, which is Chubb and Phillips, because Garrett Bowles is decent and Mike McGlinchey is pretty good too. So it's going to be a tough matchup possibly for the edges, but I'm looking at this week, I'm looking at Christian Wilkins, Roquan Davis, Zach Taylor, David Long coming in from the blitz, or Jerome Baker coming in from the blitz and getting sacks, because one of the main reasons why the Denver Broncos offensive line has allowed 9 sacks is because Russell Wilson holds onto the ball way too long. And that's a mistake in his game that I feel like he's just not going to fix at this point in his career. So the Miami Dolphins absolutely had to take care of that. Dial up some blitzes with Vic Fangio. Get some creative game calls in there. And get some pressure under Russell Wilson, man, because he holds the ball way too long. He holds the ball for 4 seconds, and in a day and age where you see quarterbacks getting the ball out quickly in their hands in about 2.5 seconds, 2 seconds. So I really think that's the main thing in this Dolphins defense versus Broncos offense is you need to get pressure to Russell Wilson, because they in the first 2 games they've allowed 9 sacks. They do not have that great of an offensive line besides their tackles. So, and then also what made me really happy was reading that Cam Smith is getting more reps in practice this week, because Eli Apple, man, he's a liability. he soft coverage. I'm just saying, um, he allows a lot of soft coverage. And there was one drive, the Dolphins are up 24-10, and all the Patriots offense did, all Bill O'Brien did that drive, was pick on Eli Apple, and he got 2 defensive pass interference penalties and allowing big catch after big catch in the fourth quarter. He's a liability, and you know how better is Cam Smith, you know? And wow. Really quickly, I'm on Twitter, and Adam Schefter tweeted out, Cowboys believe cornerback Trayvon Diggs suffered a torn ACL during practice, and he'll undergo an MRI to confirm the injury. Wow. Wow, dude. Talk about a big loss for one of the best defenses in the NFL, the Cowboys. The Cowboys lose Trayvon Diggs. That is crazy, man. That is wild. Thoughts and prayers to him. But back to this game. You got to get pressure to Russell Wilson, and I want to see more. I want to see Cam Smith get some reps this week. I'm tired. I'm getting a little. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm getting a little impatient with Eli Apple, I think. So we'll see. But I think that the defense is going to be fine. And Vic Fangio is a big matchup for him this week. Facing his old team that he was the head coach for, that fired him. And he was asked if he had any, if this was personal going for him going into this game. And I don't think he said much. He didn't say no. He didn't say yes either. So I do think, though, that Vic Fangio is going to bring his A game against the Denver Broncos. You know he wants to confuse the shit out of Russell Wilson. And I think he's going to. So that's going to be a big matchup, is our defense against the Broncos offense. And then we'll switch to the Broncos defense against the Dolphins offense. And when we get to that statistic, the Broncos defense is ranked right in the middle of the field at 16th in the NFL, while the Miami Dolphins overall offense first with 462.5 yards per game. The Miami Dolphins have the best offense in the NFL right now. The Broncos passing defense is ranked 21st in the NFL, 249.5 passing yards per game given up. The Miami Dolphins pass offense first, 357.5 passing yards per game for the Dolphins offense. And then you look at the Broncos rushing defense, they're ranked 11th, and the Miami Dolphins rushing offense is ranked 16th after last week's game against the New England Patriots with Raheem Mostert. So there is that. I don't think Jalen Waddle is going to play in this game. I kind of concerned. I saw a picture at him yesterday at practice, and he looked good. He looked happy. Tyreek Hill saying he's in good spirits. And now today, he was not at practice. He was nowhere near to be found. And Tyreek Hill says we would love to have him out there on Sunday, but his health matters first, and it's next man up. And he's right. It is next man up. It's not next week. If we did not have Jalen Waddle for next week's game, then I would be concerned. But if Jalen Waddle doesn't play against the Broncos, I am okay with it. As much as I would love to see him out there, I'm cool with it. if he needs 1 week of rest, give it to him, because what I'm seeing from the receiving core, um, or this offense in general, I trust this offense without Jalen Waddle. I trust Mike McDaniel to able to draw play designs to get guys like Braxton Berrios, who I picked up in fantasy this week, and River Craycraft, and maybe Eric Ezukama gets a little bit of receiver rep. He gets a little bit of reps at receiver this week, which would be really nice if Jalen Waddle doesn't play. Get him some reps in there. I trust the Dolphins' offense overall. Now, what am I looking for in this matchup? I think Tyreek is going to be locked up on. He's going to be going one-on-one with Patrick Surtain all day. I think Surtain's job is going to be specifically, you're lined up on Tyreek Hill and you're not going away from him. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think it's going to be able to create opportunities for guys like Braxton Berrios, River Craycraft, Durham Smythe to be able to get open for the Miami Dolphins. And the defense for the Broncos got ripped apart by the Washington Commanders last week. Sam Howell only got sacked once. The Broncos defense can't put pressure on the quarterback to save their life, so that's good. And the Miami Dolphins, they are the second-ranked offensive line in the end. That is crazy. It's only week 3, but our main concern going into the season was the offensive line, and the Miami Dolphins offensive line is ranked second in the NFL behind the Detroit Lions. And Teron Armstead's probably going to play this week, which is going to be an upgrade for the Dolphins' offensive line. And then we'll have Kendall Lamb for insurance, just in case Armstead or Austin Jackson end up going down in this game. But the main thing for me, get the ball out quick with Tua, obviously, and keep running the ball, man. And I want to see some more opportunities for Braxton, for River Craycraft, because I do think Tyreek is going to be locked up on Pat Surtain all day. That's going to be Surtain's job, is going to be one-on-one with Tyreek Hill. And I think it's going to create opportunities for Smythe, for River Craycraft, for Braxton Berrios, for the Dolphins to run the ball with Raheem Mostert. And I do think Tyreek Hill is going to get opportunities, but we'll see. I like this matchup. I like this matchup for the Dolphins offense more than I did last week going into the Patriots game. And I thought they played very good against the Patriots defense last week, because the whole game plan was to take away the deep balls to Tyreek Hill and to Jalen Waddle. And they're like, okay, we'll get the short passes, we'll get the first down, and we're going to run the ball. And that's something the Miami Dolphins struggled to do last year, run the ball. And that's what they did last week. If Raheem Mostert has another day like he did last week, man, I got no problem with that. So we get into my prediction. I don't do score predictions. I hate score predictions because I feel like it's jinxing. But I will tell you who I think is going to win the game. And this should be, keyword, should be the Miami Dolphins. Good teams take care of business against teams like this. Is this a trap game? I mean, I respect the Broncos more than I do other teams in the NFL. So I'm not going to say it's a trap game. Like, I don't think the Patriots game was a trap game either. I don't think this was a trap. I don't think this is a trap game. This is just a game where it's your home opener, Hard Rock Stadium, It's going to be blazing hot. It's going to be 88 degrees, I think. The hometown crowd is going to be very excited, which they should. And the Dolphins need to take care of business on Sunday. Defense, get pressure to Russell Wilson and get some sacks. Russell Wilson holds onto the ball way too long. And the Dolphins need to take advantage of that. And on offense, with Tyreek Hill being one-on-one with Pat Surtain this game, I would get more opportunities to Braxton Berrios, River Craycraft, Durham Smythe, and run the ball again with Raheem Mostert. Again, this is depending if Jalen Waddle is going to play on Sunday or not. I don't think he's going to play, but I don't think that's going to matter because I trust this Miami Dolphins offense with or without Jalen Waddle. Mike McDaniel is the best right now. He's the best offensive play caller in the NFL. And they're going to go into this game prepared whether Jalen Waddle is going to play or not. So, yes, I do think that the Miami Dolphins are going to win on Sunday. And that's all I got for you guys, man. I'm going to be back here Sunday after the Miami Dolphins take on the Broncos. I'll be right back here on Sunday. And we're going to talk about the game, post-game recap video. Hopefully, we are talking about a Miami Dolphins victory and 3-0 going into next week's game against those Buffalo Bills. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but I will talk about it on Sunday. If we win, I will talk about it for a little bit. We should win. We should win on Sunday. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Comment down below your thoughts. Who's going to win between the Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. And follow me on Twitter at Conlon_Joseph. And I will see you guys in the next video, which is going to be Sunday here on the Big Fight Fuel channel. After the Miami Dolphins take on the Denver Broncos in their home opener at Hard Rock Stadium, 1 o'clock on Sunday, with the best commentary duo in the NFL, Kevin Harlan and Trent Green on the call. I will see you guys Sunday. Have a good one. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy. And fins up!